I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the Little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
All right, welcome back everyone to RR After Dark, the official podcast of the iRacing League Racing Revolution. This podcast, as always, is made possible by our wonderful sponsors, Chapman Environmental Services, Ultimate Siding and Gutters, Butt Kicker, and the wonderful folks over at Simtrax Broadcasting. I'm your host and driver of number 14 Slurp Soda's Ford Mustang, Michael Bennett. Beside me, I have Kevin Orlando Jr., driver of the number 27 Starry Ford Mustang, Nicholas Alves, driver of the number 24 Coastal Financial Chevy Camaro, and Trevor Earhart, driver of the number 21 Black Rifle Coffee Company and the Big O Foundation Chevy Camaro. All right, this one's going to be a good one. We've got our special guest also. We're going to get into some things with him. We're going to go back and talk about Darlington and what a nightmare that was for some of us. Other people in here had a much better time. Going to look at next week, got our All-Star race. That's going to be super awesome in North Wilkesboro, so we'll get into that too. So first things first, let's get our guest in here. Today on the podcast, our guest is Trevor Keith, driver of the number 15 Keith Stone Graphics Ford Mustang. Trevor, it is awesome to have you here, man. How you doing today?
Sir, I'm all right. Long day at work today, but I feel pretty good now. So,
right, dude, great day when you get to end it with a podcast, huh?
Yeah.
Before we go any further, we gotta get the cat out of the bag. We got two Trevors. Would you like to be called Trevor K, Trevor Keith, guest? How can we do
whatever you want to call me is fine with me.
Okay.
I don't care.
I actually have something to talk about that could make this. We could differentiate this pretty well.
I swear, Bennett, if you call me bald,
so I actually wasn't going to, but now the new thing, because I'm going to stop my point, I'm going to call Trevor Earhart Baldy, and then I'm going to call Trevor Keith Trevor. And we'll do it like that. Some have said that he actually cuts a hole in the top of his carp, and it actually is more aerodynamic using his head than the top of the car. Look at it. Look at that shiny thing there. Anyways, so what I was actually going to ask was Keith Stone Graphics. Does that have anything to do with you? Is that smooth like Keith Stone?
That's
with the beard?
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
So I was playing football in high school, and I was a sophomore, and all the juniors and seniors were over there. They, talking trash to sophomores and freshmen and stuff like that, like normal stuff. And one day they just started calling me Keystone out of nowhere because of those commercials.
Hell yeah.
Smooth like Keystone. And that's what they started calling me that. So I've always just through high school I went by Keystone, and that's just what everything is Keystone that I have. My Instagram, my Twitter, just everything. So it just kind of stuck with me.
I love that. I never liked the beer, but greatest commercials of all time.
Does that
they
mean
were great in high
you
school
own
because they were
graphics
cheap.
as well?
Right.
I do some stuff like this logo. That's why I wore the shirt. To be honest,
Nice.
I made this logo for my buddy. I'm not very great at it. I make my own paint schemes and stuff like that, but because I taught myself how to use Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that, and I make some logos here and there and stuff.
Nice.
Just kind of do it for fun, really.
Sick. Dude, that's awesome. I tried to mess around on the paint thing the other day with just doing a helmet, and I ruined everything. It was
hard,
so
actually, like because it doesn't line up right. It's one side's bigger than the other, or something. It's weird. I don't know. I've tried to do helmets and stuff, and it turned out weird.
Maybe that's where I messed up. I thought smaller would be better. Just little things. Maybe I should just go straight for the car. What's up, Nick?
We were all in Discord when he was trying to do the helmet, Trevor,
Oh.
right? And he was getting so frustrated after 2 hours. He just said screw, and he just went on and found someone that made one already.
It's so tedious sometimes, though, trying to get stuff to line up right on Photoshop. It's really tedious sometimes. I get frustrated a lot.
I think the hardest problem I was having is I would pick something to try and change it, and then it would change something else, and I was like, no, this one, let's make it this color, and then it would it would just throw everything off.
It's a whole weird learning process. Like I watched countless YouTube videos to learn how to do some stuff, and there's still ways that are way faster than what I do, and I got to figure out how.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do, and I try to learn. That's why I keep making stuff. So I try to learn as much as I can.
Nice. Well, I'll let you learn, and then you send me over the secrets, like the clip notes, and we'll go from there. So, how did you, speaking of all the paint shop and everything, how did you get into iRacing?
So since high school, my buddy's uncle that I technically kind of lived with, this guy actually, we went to his uncle's house, and he had R Factor, and he had the whole Logitech wheel and stuff like that, and built himself a little rig. And we would go over there and just kind of mess around on the dirt stuff and run sprint cars and modifieds and just crash all the time. And we were like, dude, we need this. And it just never came about. And then I went to college and stuff and just never had the funds really to do anything like that. Or I was on the road for a little bit working, and so I just never did it. And eventually I bought a PC when I moved to Kansas City, and I was sitting there on the PC. I'm like, wait, I can literally do iRacing now. So I went and bought it, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. And I went in Facebook Marketplace, and I found this cheap wheel that had no force feedback or anything, and raced for like a month or month and a half with no force feedback wheel because I didn't know that was a thing. And then I finally figured that out and got a G920, and then I just upgraded from there.
That sounds about how my journey started.
There's nothing sweeter from going with nothing with force feedback to figuring out, holy shit, this has feeling in it.
I was so blown away by it. Like I was just like, this is a thing? I didn't know that.
Talk about worn out forearms the first time you learned about force feedback.
Oh, no, worn out forearms was when I went from the G920 to this Moza R16.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to complete a 100-lap race like this?
What do you use for pedals?
I have the cheaper Moza pedals now that I got at Micro Center.
Do you get a lot of force feedback through the pedals?
No, not these ones. I have the cheaper ones. Don't. I didn't realize that when I bought them, but I spent so much money on the triple monitors and the cockpit that I have or whatever that the pedals were kind of a second option. So
Bennett's trying to find pedals that literally like move his entire apartment complex.
Dude, I'm just saying, sometimes if I could just crank the fucking setting of this thing just up like 2 notches.
They have those Hutchfield sprints at Micro Center. I don't know if you have Micro Center next to you, but they for like $600, and those are supposed to be like crazy good.
Yeah, you have to literally replace oil in those, Bennett. You don't want to do all that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm a low maintenance dude, so I'm like trying to get the most out of not fucking with it.
Replace the oil in every few months.
I think they're hydraulic instead of load.
It's hydraulic fluid.
Yeah.
If you guys are looking for a cheap option, I got the Burns option. Just get a spring, fold it together.
That's right.
Put it down in your brake, and just there you go. That's all you need.
Hey, and for a shifter, all you need is the buttons in front of the wheel, baby.
Buttons in front of the wheel.
Here we go again.
With old buttons.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Maybe if he had a shifter, he would have won last night. Anyways, moving on. So, how, Trevor, how did you come to find Racing Revolution?
Tay, actually, we were racing in a Xfinity league that neither one of us actually no longer race in. Ironically enough, we were racing there, and he wanted to join a team, and we had a spot open with some of my buddies, so we let him come in, and then me and Tay just kind of practiced a lot together, and then we kind of, got pretty close, and then he's like, I got this next gen league that these guys are really good and stuff, and it's a lot cleaner than probably what you've been doing. So I was like, all right, let's do it. I was looking for a next gen league because I've only been on iRacing for about a year now, like this month, so I haven't ran a whole lot of next gen stuff. So I was like, I really want to do next gen. I'm tired of trucks. Xfinity, that was fun, but the league was just kind of. So then I joined here with Tay, and this has been the most fun I've had in the league since. So.
What is it like having Kevin Orlando as a team captain?
He's not on Kevin's team.
Yeah,
Yes, I am.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool, Nick.
I thought
Hey,
he was on
why don't you find us a little bit
Golly.
about
I
your
thought he
guest
was on
before he comes on here?
Trevor's.
Okay.
Are you
We
lost?
literally have a
Oh,
whole
my
thing that
God.
says the teams. It's right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I know he hasn't
Crazy.
earned that many points, but he is on my team.
Is that what it's like?
No. It's been a
Is that
rough
what it's
stretch
like?
for me recently. So
The
has.
poor,
It
the
has
poor
been
guy,
rough.
if he listens to the pod, he hears me every week go, can he keep the fucking car in one piece?
or Nick down there last week like this.
Yeah.
I
See,
saw
he does. He does
I
watch
was-
the pod.
I was mad because last week we had tornadoes going across the state, and I couldn't be there for the pod, so I didn't get a chance to pick you as my dark horse for this.
Yeah.
That's actually something I wanted to ask you about too. What is it? Is it any more pressure, or do you put any more self-imposed pressure on you by knowing Baldy down here is picking you every single week?
I would
to
love
win?
to say I don't, but I do. And I think that's my problems with qualifying right now is like I want to be up front and qualify up front, and then I'll push too hard and hit the wall, and then now I'm 15th and 20th, and I got to try to work my way back, and then I get involved in stuff. Or unfortunately, Kansas, I wrecked Wayne on accident and got Nick, and just being too aggressive right now because I used to be really conservative. I was in a league where I finished second 8 times, won regular season points, and then Final Four finished third behind the points leader who finished second. Never won a race in that league. And I realized that if I'm too conservative here, I'm going to get ate up. I got to pick up my aggressiveness. Well, then I've picked it up a little bit too much, so now I got to dial it back a little bit.
I do have
Finding that
a good
perfect
news
balance.
for you, though. Fun fact. You are in top 10 in points. However, you are the only one in top 10 in points that does not have a top 5 yet.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And I could have had it yesterday, but, someone decided to miss their pit box, pitting in 4th, and then dropped all the way back down to 9th.
You talking about yourself?
Yes. I slid right through it when I was in 4th, and it dropped me back to 9th, and I just couldn't move anywhere after that. And I was trying to recover from that and just burnt it up and dropped to 11th. So
At least
I know
hit
you-
the pit barrels.
Oh my God.
I
know
did.
you. I know you didn't advance past Dover, but I also want to know this: was the bracket any kind of motivator when that got
Yes.
put out?
The bracket was cool. I wanted to surprise people really bad. And when Dover happened, I think that's why I was a little bit more mad than I should have been when that happened. I mean, obviously it's cool now. I calmed down after that, but at the time I was pretty heated. It was just an added sense of pressure. Like I want to show, like I can be further in the bracket than people expect me to. I really
tell
want
you how
to
you do that.
Nick
you
the
get
next
3
week.
buys in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolute fucking horseshit.
Yeah,
is
some
what
of us
that is.
hasn't been that lucky and have actually had to race our way to where we are.
Yeah, Justice has gotten well, and it's funny because all year he hasn't gotten a hand in any race, and then we throw brackets out, and he's into the fucking the semifinals or the quarterfinals.
And to be fair,
with
I
all 3 buys.
got wrecked at Dover and was 9 laps down, so Travis could have easily beat me. And then got wrecked at Kansas So
my internet was fucked.
you
so
definitely probably could have
any.
beat me because your internet fucks off, and then last night I get wrecked. So I don't know. Grant probably would have beat me last night too. So
All of Justice's luck has went to the bracket and not the racetrack.
not the actual
Exactly.
racetrack, because I'm still getting shit luck on the racetrack. It's just nobody's there to face me.
Sorry, the
Maybe
next round.
Maybe Nick will blink out at Charlotte. Like
Well, the next round's so the next round's Charlotte. So I expect you to take 2 tires and end up in the outside wall in the back straightaway again.
So
Yeah.
really
Well,
quick,
how else would
did
you
I
expect?
blink out all yesterday?
Yes.
Once, yeah, once
just
for
once?
sure. Just once that I saw.
It's the new router.
Yeah, you're
I don't
welcome.
think I saw
dude.
it.
It's about
An
fucking
improvement,
time.
I guess.
It's about time. Well, Trevor,
Maybe
speaking of, oh, go ahead, Kevin.
I was just gonna say maybe it was just a fluke. We got to give him another week here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see at
Um,
Wilkesboro.
We'll see. Well, actually, speaking of all these tracks we're talking about, where is somewhere that you look at and you see yourself winning at? Is there a certain track you have in mind? Is there a certain type of track that suits you better? What do you think?
I think Kansas is a good place for me. I really love Kansas so much, and not just because I live in Kansas City. It's just always been a good track for me. Bristol's a pretty good one for me too, as well. I know that one's gonna be a little tougher than Kansas, but those two I was looking at. Bristol Dirt was probably my best chance, and I just overdrove myself completely. I was just trying. I knew that was my chance. I knew I was pretty fast there, and I had, me and you were battling for the lead in the heat race, and I just dumped it in the lead. So, looking for mile and a halfs, I think, are really my strong suit.
Nice.
That's when I get more excited for is the mile and a halfs.
Nice. Yeah, I do not really. I like short
not.
tracks. Yeah, short tracks are super speedways or where I'm at. If I finish somewhere in the top 15 mile and a half, it's like hell yeah.
Hey, how
Good
have the
race.
super speedways worked out for you? Been at this year?
When you're not there, they do pretty good. All officials
Unlucky
I've
for you,
ran
he's
where you're
been
not
there.
fucking there. Yeah, I do just fine, and then you get there, and it's a whole
Or
problem.
Wayne.
Yeah, or just fucking or my teammate first season, just coming out of left field hits one driver. It's me.
I never hit him, by the way. He hit me, and I never hit him.
Hold on, I was
Never
talking
your
about Matt.
fault. Never your fault.
I was talking
Oh,
about Matt in season 1 when it wasn't his fault he was out in the grass, but it was just weirdly inconvenient that as he came back up, I told him I wasn't going to talk about it anymore. So we'll keep moving on. So Trevor, one thing we asked Brandon this, and I think we're going to ask everybody this. What's your opinion, or how do you like or dislike the choose cone rule?
I love it. Oh, I love it. It's just you got to think right before you go green. You're not just sitting there pacing. It doesn't pacing gets boring after a while. I hate pacing so much, and so at least you have something to do while you're pacing and stuff. And but just the extra decision you have to make after, am I gonna go high or am I gonna go low? I gained a spot on Brandon yesterday by just taking the low line because I know the high side was better, but I gained another row just being on the bottom side. It's the extra thinking about it and everything. It's awesome. I love it.
Nice.
Well, speaking of thinking, as we're coming to the line, do we want to talk about how the 54 was not last night? And
Which
see,
hold on.
just the first time. We should start with
Oh,
the
man.
first
Just the
one.
first
Let's
time,
start at
just
the
one at a
beginning
time?
of the. Let's start at the beginning of the race, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
I
we can
mean,
skip the barrel part though.
I'm gonna say no. We're gonna talk about that too. I want to dive into this because I said a couple weeks ago, I voiced this to Bennett, that I kind of started to have a problem with how Caleb handled some interviews with Patrick, calling people out, kind of non necessarily. I understood his frustration at Coda, but there was at least one other time it happened, and it just kind of got under my skin. So I was like, well, I'm definitely going to go back and want to replay for him the lap -1 comment that he made in the booth about the number 3 car. And here he is making the same mistake, probably worse. I think he piled up a few more cars than Logan did. So,
I started 20th and moved up to 10th after that. So.
Yep, that's where I think I was
It was impressive.
21st or something,
If you
and
guys,
I was
if
in
you
ninth.
guys rewatch the broadcast, Patrick names off like 5 different guys saying, "Oh, start 20th, 12th,
Yeah.
start 18th."
Yeah, I started
6th." I'm like,
15th and
what
was
the heck?
6th.
I was
Yep.
I was 8th on the restart, and I started right behind Trevor, 17th.
It's the best thing Caleb's done for me in a long time.
I believe it.
And wait, until later when you were smoking an engine on the bottom of the track.
That was not Caleb.
No,
that
I
was
know
actually.
it wasn't his
Oh,
fault.
I was gonna say that was me actually. And the nose of our guest.
Yeah.
That I hit the wall, and
I thought he was making the corner. I was going to pull in behind him, and he did it, and I was like, "Oh, it's too late to do anything."
Yep.
And just it was
Straight. I mean, just straight into the inside wall. 31 minutes of required. I think I win that award for most damage gained, and yeah, it was a fucking great time.
You might want to check that with Wayne Lowe. His car was pretty toast on lap -1 there.
Yeah, no, but he came
He got
back
out there. Yeah,
he
he
literally
back
came
out
back
there.
out on that pit cycle. Came back out. He ran like 3 laps, and he said, "I'm out. I'm gonna watch Wilkesboro."
Yep.
I
The Cars Tour
can't
races
believe
last
I
night.
even missed the fact that he was out there. That's impressive in
Kevin,
its own
you
right.
said it last night in admin review. You were like, I was driving
Did
by
I?
him and his tires were crooked, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell is he doing out here?
Oh, I thought that was before he pit.
No, that was
Fucking
after
lost,
he
dude.
pit. That was
I was
after he
so
pit.
lost last night. After that start of the race, my mind was just fuzz. I was so
It was a great
confused.
race last night. What are you talking about?
It was
Yeah,
something.
it wasn't.
It wasn't, I agree.
it was not. Somewhere we're gonna get a count on how many stripes Kevin got. There was a running bet. We're gonna need somebody to go back and watch
On
it.
the initial start, he got at least 6.
I got
Yeah,
hit
'cause-
so many times on the start.
If you count car stripes, because he kept getting hit.
Yeah, I think that's a great topic point. Is surviving Darlington. I think it's the best worded point that we've had in a long time. Some of us did, some of us did not. Trevor, Baldy, did pretty well. Some would say. I think
better than most.
Better than all, really. I would someone say. Yeah. So what's speaking of that, what's it? I know we talked about this before the podcast, but how does it feel to be the second person to win twice this season?
It feels pretty good. I think they're. I feel like I've left, 1 or 2 races out there on the table. Coda, with the missed play on the tire strategy, and then the unfortunate pit call at Richmond, but having 2 wins feels pretty good. Feel like we've built a lot of momentum, not only for myself but as a team. I mean, leveling 2 podiums in a row, and a win. Parker showed speed last night, but I mean, it's Darlington. 1 misstep could end your race, and you just got in the wall too much and hurt the toe link of that car. So I feel like as a team as a whole, TSR is doing pretty good, and we're taking a big step forward.
So Loveland's a huge bonus to have back to help your team.
It is very nice having Loveland.
Yeah, he's helping his team, but he's making it harder for us.
He was quick last night.
He's a threat.
He was quick last night. That final restart, I think just drove it in too hard into one, got loose in front of Nick, and then Nick gave him a little bit of a tap, sent him to the back, and I think he got hit again out of 4 and spun to the inside wall. So didn't get the finish.
I think he just flat lost it. I don't think he got hit.
Yeah,
when I watched the broadcast back, he just lost it on his own.
I messaged him after the race because of like turn 1 and 2, and he said he was obviously losing it on his own. Either way, he was going to go to the bottom of 1 and 2. And then he said in 3 and 4, which he said he struggled the most at yesterday, he said just for some reason he just completely misjudged it and lost it, and then that was the night basically.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it, but he just said he spun, so I didn't know if he got hit or just spun. But yeah, I didn't get the he didn't get the result that I think he deserved. He definitely had top 3, top 5 pace all night long in the O2 cars. So, but I know he's gonna be quick at Charlotte when we get back to points racing. So I expect to see him recover well.
Yeah, for sure. Do we want to talk about? I haven't looked at it because my internet fucked me, and I didn't get to race at Kansas. But does somebody have the updated bracket of who we have left?
So
It's
we
It's pretty
have
simple.
yeah, so we don't have
You're
the
looking at
updated.
you're
was
looking
here.
at them all.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, good point.
The four of us. It's
The four
Justice,
admin.
Nick, Kevin, and me.
In
Somehow, I
fact,
had
on my screen, we're actually
We're
like
top and
on
bottom.
top of each other. Yes,
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
and Nick,
we
and
got
then
a
Kevin
pot.
and Trevor.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it is on my screen too.
Hey,
Justice gets
Trevor,
3
we'll race
buys.
too, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Fuck
we got
these
it.
guys. Yeah, fuck these guys.
It's a consolation
Justice gets
bracket.
3
Yeah.
buys. Nick wins his way in. I lucked out with Loveland's last run mistake there. I had no shot last night. My car was wrecked. I was in the back. I was just struggling to stay on the lead lap. And Loveland's out there leading the race. I'm like, well, there goes that. His mistake completely changed this bracket.
Well, you can say his mistake completely changed the bracket, or you can say your determination and consistency of trying to stay on the lead lap and come back from adversity helped you move on.
Let me just tell you something. We tried all
Lived.
night. Kevin and I battled because I was probably a top 3 car before the wreck that kind of screwed me, and I ended up with 4 minutes of damage because I get wrecked on the track. Caleb hits the barrels. I'm behind him, have nowhere to go. Hit him. Have like 4.5 minutes of damage. Got about half of it repaired, then took a hit to the wall from Fike, and we ended up with another 4 minutes. So I had a fully repaired car at lap 100 when me and Kevin sat in the pits and just went a lap down. And then the battle for the lucky dog there was way more intense than it should have been because B Rich got up to go use the bathroom, comes back, he's a lap down, but his car was perfectly fine. So I'm like, oh, he half spins, goes to the back. Me and Kevin are door banging each other.
I was wondering
thing
why
you
he was
know,
so
I mean,
much
it's like-
quicker than us.
Yeah, his car was perfectly fine. We had to go take a piss.
Well, that
He
explains
was
it.
up in the top 5 like all night long.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was up front like the whole race. I'm surprised he did that.
He got up to take a piss. He's like, I couldn't hold it. I got to quit drinking beer. I'm like, yeah, we'd rather you didn't drink and drive. I'm like, it's already bad enough we're dodging the 99 car.
Here's the
You
fucking
know?
deal. Be a man, piss in a bottle, dude. It's possible. You can stand up. You can do it in a tire change. Ask me how I know.
Well, he's on camera for his stream and for Patrick.
Dude,
so,
hey, look at me. Look at my camera. Check
Stand
this
up,
shit out.
just-
Check this shit out. What's that right there? Off camera. You don't put
Oh,
your
no.
dick on Twitch, but you fucking, help the team.
You just gotta set up a little urinal tube under the desk here.
Just put a
There, that's
catheter
next
in,
level.
Have
Yep.
you heard of a
helping-
catheter?
Jesus.
No. No.
Speaking of helping the team, Nick Bennett, do y'all have any words of encouragement for your teammate who 3 weeks in a row has kind of thrown away a shot at winning a race?
Oh, we were in his ear as soon as he made that mistake off of 2 with 2 to go.
I
in
was
his
spotting
ear.
the whole time.
Yeah, we were egging him on, telling him like, hey, don't worry about it, bro. You still got a chance. And then obviously after the race, we were like, dude, like, your shots is gonna come. Like the mistakes you've made in the past is all what's gonna make you better in the future, and you're just gonna learn from all this. It's not like you've had a bad year. You've had really good finishes. Pretty sure he's in 7th or 6th place in points or
Yeah,
something.
I was gonna say he's
So
still doing
he's
very
he's
well.
solidly in the playoffs right now. I said you have nothing really to worry about. You're just fighting yourself at this point, and as soon as you can battle your own demons, you're going to be fine. And he even said in his interview that he probably wouldn't be as good as he is right now or have as much confidence after the struggles that he's had if it wasn't for guys in his ear talking to him. And I think not only myself, Bennett, and Matt in his ear, but even the guys reaching out to him in the league after like some hard battles that you guys do. I know Justice says he's reached out to him a couple times. Trevor, I know you've talked to him. Rob's talked to him. It's just the interaction with everybody. I think that's really helping him in realizing, hey, like it's just myself at this point, and he'll get over it. You watch.
The
Yeah,
funny
I
part
talked-
is
He's gonna
even
win
with
soon.
all that, he's the highest points member of performance right now.
And y'all both
I
have
would
wins.
Yeah.
say if you were spotting him yesterday, Michael, were you telling him I was up high when he put me in the wall?
Yeah, I told him everything.
I'm just playing.
No,
I'm over
no,
at the
I was-
time.
no,
I
no,
gave him
I
a big
was-
shot in the bumper after that to let him know I wasn't happy about it. But
yeah, I was just like, fuck Trevor. He fucking sent me in the water.
I'm just-
No.
I-
No,
That's why I thought when I restarted in front of Trevor and he's giving me the bumper, and I was like, is Trevor and Michael teammates? Is he? Are they pissed off at me?
No.
It's like,
So
I
okay,
don't-
Trevor, you will learn that if we have a good rapport with each
Yeah.
other, we can joke around. I will bump the shit out of everybody
It
under
pisses me
caution
off.
just for the fun of it. And I do it. I've done it to Nick. I've done it to Kevin. I do it to Bennett, and he gets so pissed. I've done it to Justice. I do it to Rob all the
I
time.
feel like Ben's the only one that actually gets pissed about it.
Rob and I will door the shit out of each other under caution just for the fun of it.
I was just hoping you weren't mad at me for what happened with
No.
me and Michael, and then you're like, well, hey, Trevor. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just like fucking with people under caution because, like you said, cautions are boring, and it's
Yeah,
not like I'm doing any
that's-
damage to anybody's cars. I just like to fuck with people because
It's too bad you weren't around when we used to box Nick in.
Oh,
under
yeah.
Oh,
caution.
no,
That was our thing, dude.
It was a good old
That would've been
classic. It
hilarious.
was a good old classic Mexican standoff, really.
Yeah, that's what they
If
did
you
to me
wanna
at
call it
Richmond.
that.
That spun me.
I will say for Alex though, like last week at Kansas, he and I had our issues with one another, that led to him not getting the finish that he probably deserved. And I will say the amount of respect that he showed last night in those last 20 laps when we were battling, uh, was really classy of him. And I know we made contact a couple of times with one another, but it wasn't as egregious as either one of our moves were back to Kansas. So I will give him a lot of credit for the way that those last 20 laps played out in that race.
I do think that's a misconception with him. Is a lot of the moves that end up happening that result in frustrations or whatever with other drivers. It's never on purpose. Every time in team chat, you can always hear him like, "Oh no, I fucked up," or he's like super upset with himself that like when he pulled the slide job at Kansas, like he knew as he was doing it, he was like, "Fuck, like this is completely my fault," right? Like he knows, but dude, he's hilarious. I love it. I love him. He's a great teammate, dude. But yes, it was nice to see the way you two raced was very entertaining, especially for somebody who let's see, I ran 24 laps yesterday, for 123 laps. I got to watch some good battles, and yours was definitely up there.
It was Darlington is a lot of fun when you get the hang of it. I know Rob had the pit road mistake on that last pit stop that put him back to fourth, and then obviously the chaos that ensued on the restart kind of took him out of contention for it. I know Justice was equally as quick as me all night long. Saved tires a little bit better than what the front guys did before he was caught up in that. So if a couple cards fall differently, I think you're looking at maybe like a 5-car a race for the win there. That really anything could have happened with that. So all in all, in my opinion, with it being Darlington and how tough it is, I think it put on. I mean, this is 2 races in a row where the finish has been questionable up until the checkered flag. You think back to last season with Nick and Burns, and this season with me and Alex. I mean, I think Darlington's put on some of our best races.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
can
still
agree with
think that as a league, we put on a lot of very good races, close finishes, and part of it has to do with, at least in the sim, our freaking tires wear out. You don't see those
Yeah.
battles in real life because the tires don't fall off, so they just go run as hard as they can. Well, if we do that, I mean, it's what I told Kevin yesterday in admin chat before the race. Like, you might run 29 sixes in the race, like 8 or 10 laps in a row, and then you're going to run 31 ones after that, and you're just not even competitive.
Yeah.
Be Parker going
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah.
I've always tried to avoid Darlington. I've hated that track for so long. Like even back when I was playing NASCAR 15 and stuff, like I've hated Darlington. And yesterday actually figuring out, like during practice, figuring it out and actually being pretty fast. Like I was in the top 5 for a long time. Gained a lot of confidence there actually yesterday. So even though I finished 11th, it was still I take it as a win because I thought, give me 50 laps and I'm probably out of this race. So
Darlington's one of those tracks where you have to drive it a certain way. If you miss your entry on 1 just by a little bit,
mhm.
your exit off of 2, you're coming off the corner 10, 15 miles an hour slower. 3 and 4, if you're not on the brakes when you're supposed to, entering 3, your apex and the way you're coming off transitioning into 4 so you can get back on the gas again is screwing yourself up. And hats off to the guys that did a fabulous job yesterday, like Alex and Trevor and Justice when he was up there and
Yeah.
stuff. But it's definitely probably one of the, if not one of the top 3 toughest tracks that we go to.
Yeah, how abrasive the surface is and how hot it was, like when the race started yesterday. It makes it tough. Like you have to drive it with just the right amount of finesse when you're driving a car as tight as that one was on entry. If that car was any looser on entry, you'd have just seen guys get up there, rip the wall. But like in 3 and 4, the preferred line, you saw Trevor Earhart do it most of the race, was like 3 and 4, you wanted to actually dip your tires just slightly below the white dashes and actually let it rotate the car and run the bottom. Versus normally you're just ripping the fence in 3 and 4 as fast as you can.
I don't know. My car didn't want to do any of that because my suspension was bent for lap 0.
See,
I was I was doing that
-1.
when I was first started practicing. I was doing that, and then I started running like middle to top, and for some reason that helped me save tire better because I was getting super loose right in the middle of ruts and like I couldn't drive it. So like I was trying to figure out how to save tire, and it was that in 3 and 4. So I just went away from it. But that's what I was doing at first.
How many of y'all shifted in 1 and 2?
At
I
the
did
end
later in the
at
run.
the end of a run I did. I would stay in 5th until probably lap 20,
Actually,
25.
Really?
Yeah.
I
I've
would say
never
I
shifted, Trevor.
middle
Well, you never
run
had time.
because by the end of the run you were so slow coming
Oh,
off
you
of
can just stay
4.
in 4th.
You could just stay in 4th to get to the other end, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
See,
I was actually staying in 4th on the front stretch.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same as I was
In
doing. I was
on a
only
hot
shifting
lap,
to
that was the
5th.
smart thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was only shifting to 5th about halfway down the back straightaway just to get off of that red line. But on the front, I would let it chip out on the front straightaway before entering 2.
see,
Before
I
entering
quit
1.
shifting the 4th. I stayed in 5th
Kevin
and 1
wasn't
and 2.
lifted until he got into 2.
Yeah, no, I just skipped turn 1. I didn't even worry about it. I just entered 2.
I stayed in 5th the whole way through 1 and 2 the whole race. I never downshifted, and
I
I
saw
think
that during the broadcast too. I was actually questioning about that.
I think that's what helped me keep the right rear underneath it out of 2 and not have it break as loose as everybody else was. And you sacrifice that little bit of drive down to 3 and 4, but in the course of the long run, I think it really helped, preserve the tires on it.
Well, that's what was shocking about our team is like it was to the end of the race, like closer to the end. Somebody, I think Matt asked Nick. He was like, "Are you downshifting?" And Nick was like, "Yeah, I'm downshifting." And he was like, "I've been in 5th gear this whole fucking time." I mean, he was in him and Alex both were 5th gear, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the whole time. And I was like, "Yeah, I need to practice Darlington, really." Speaking of surviving it though, which is a topic we kind of touched on earlier, 8 cautions is what we had last night.
It's been a while since we had that many.
Yep, did not have. I think we had one person have a green flag pit stop.
Yeah,
I
that was
think.
on a strategy call to try to get a lap back.
Yeah, that
Yep.
didn't work out now, did it?
And they ended up 2 laps down. So
There was one moment where I'm asking Kevin, should I short pit for track position? He's like, well, hang on here. There might be a wreck soon. And I mean, as soon as he says that, there's a wreck. I was like, well, thank you, Kevin.
yeah, it's the one
Clear, it
track where
wasn't
you.
me.
It's
It
the one
wasn't me.
track where like you're not pitting until you're down to 5 laps of fuel. That's when people are going to start green flag pitting, and then everybody's going to pit within 2 laps. because you lose so much time if you just go, nah, let them pit, and then I'll run it down to one lap. Like, you're going to lose 2 seconds on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was so concerned with the lack of green flag pit stops early in a race. You know, we didn't get that long run until the latter half of the race, and I'm just like, someone is going to screw up that pit entry,
Mm-hmm.
and they screwed it up under caution, so of course they're going to screw it up under green.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's what I was just
Hey,
waiting for. Go in,
because
bounce off the barrels on the other side, and come back up on track and bring out that caution.
Darlington's
Caleb
probably
was not the only one, by the way.
He wasn't the only one. Who else did it?
He's the only one that hit the barrels, but Fike spun out and ended up on the eye. He had to like drive backwards and come back.
Speaking of
I
old
didn't see
John
that.
T, he was
Yeah.
our most incident person in Darlington with 18
How many did he
incident
have?
points.
God, I had
We had
14, but
We had a close second with Blake Cook at 16, and then we had a tie for third at 4 people: Tynan, Brandon Richardson, Kevin, and Justice.
I had 14, and me and Trevor were talking about it last night after everybody left admin. I'm like, I got a 2x on the lap -1 thing, and all that happened, like Wayne, like caught my bumper, and then he did his thing and fucked off, hit the inside wall. So I got a 0x to 2x there. I was like, great. I get a 4x when Matt turns down on me and I get into the wall. I get a 4x when I hit Caleb because I don't have anywhere to go. So that put me to 10. I got a 2x for Fike. Or no, I'm sorry. I got a 2x for hitting the wall trying to break and avoid the wreck that brought out the stage caution. And I got a 2x for Fike hitting me into the wall. I was just like, none of the X's are even my fault. I don't know what the fuck to do about that. That's
Just keep hitting things. It's fine.
yeah, just keep on hitting it, I guess.
The funniest part of the race for me yesterday, which it was oddly timed, and I believe it was supposed to be said in admin chat, but it was not, is that Rob came over the mic and said, fuck it. And immediately afterwards, there was a caution. And I was like, hello? Did anybody just hear that? Because I couldn't tell that it was Rob who was saying it. Because I've got my, when people key up, it comes up on my third monitor on the right. And so while I'm directly driving, I can't see who's talking. I have to look up. And I was like, there's no fucking way somebody just said fuck it and then caused the caution. And Nick was like, no, he meant to say that in admin chat. Trevor was talking about whatever the hell you guys were talking about, Joey Logano and him or something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That fuck it came through all teams, and it was hilarious. It was my favorite moment of the
Fuck
night.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
sure that
Yeah,
sounded
oof.
great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was telling Rob in admin chat, I was like, hey, if this is how it's gonna be, on the last lap, how about I just Logano you like Logano Byron it, and he just goes fuck it. I didn't realize he
Yeah.
wasn't in admin chat, but that makes
Yeah.
more sense.
And immediately we look back, the 99 sideways flying down the fucking track, and I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't him.
Should have been.
Yeah. A lot of cautions, a lot of incidents.
How about Wayne
Not-
hitting Burns with his rear tires off the ground?
Oh my
Wayne
God.
didn't
Kevin's
so Wayne
comment
hit
on that?
Burns, I guess, after he hit the wall.
Yeah.
But Wayne smoked the wall first. If we're
At
looking
33
at
miles an hour, according to
it,
Kevin.
looking at it, and he's
Yeah.
already airborne, and Kevin goes, "That's impressive. He's only at 33 miles an hour." And then he rolls it back and sees where he hit the wall. He goes, "Oh no, he was doing 87. Sorry."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
Kevin
Oh,
had
wait,
a
he
rough
got
time in
airborne at
admin chat.
33. Holy shit!
I've seen some weird shit in iRacing before. You can't blame me. Would it really surprise you if he got airborne at 33 miles an hour in iRacing?
No, I saw somebody
No,
shoot
God,
off
no.
faster than a rocket ship and go straight the fuck into the pits. I mean,
Exactly.
I got caught in the inside wall at Phoenix because of somebody in here.
Hey, I got I got caught in the pit exit wall at Darlington in officials last week. So
Oh,
okay,
Hey,
Phoenix.
Trevor-
By the way, you hack.
Yeah, fuck you. A car high, you jackass.
You were low, and listen, the spotter doesn't say that when you're 3 miles down to the left in the fucking dog leg.
Yeah.
it is
Well,
fucking wild the memory you guys have about a bunch of this shit. I'm just like sitting here thinking, like, every time you guys bring something up, I'm like, how the fuck?
I'm
do
just
you
telling you,
remember that?
Bennett. I wish that you in URL because there's
There-
things that
there's some
No, you
like
don't.
the three of us or
No,
the four of
you
us won't
don't.
forget. But here's the thing. Everybody needed to be at that Pocono race where
I
Dylan
understand, that's
hit the
true.
wall, flipped, flew over 3 rows of cars,
and
landed on
killed
me,
Finsler.
I
hit
think
Finsler. Like, it was fantastic.
Dude, that was the greatest thing ever.
for the old league that we were in, I think the 3 races that all of us remember to a T would be Pocono, was it
Coda and Daytona Road.
I was gonna say
Oh.
Bristol and then Texas.
Oh, there's 5
there's
because
definitely more.
Daytona. There's 5 because it's gonna be
Oh,
that Pocono race.
yeah, we have to remember
Daytona,
Daytona.
come on, motherfuckers!
Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
Daytona Road.
Yeah.
Coda.
Toto
Can't forget
where
that
Rob
one.
Coda
wrecks
with
me
you
in
and
13.
yeah.
I gotta point out. I gotta say Vegas, the championship race in Vegas.
Oh, with you when you
That
won.
was a good with you upsetting Finsler.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, hey,
Yes, sir.
Of
Yes,
course you would
sir.
remember
big
that.
big
Yes,
shout out to
sir.
James Loveland for capping that championship for you and not letting Jason pass him.
yeah, he
Well, I
he
mean-
fought tooth and nail.
I was faster than Jason. And I fucked up the final pit stop that night, but yeah, I'm glad Loveland won that race because it helped me out.
I just love that we've now created our own fantastic Coda memory, which I'm sure was covered before I got here. But
Oh,
man.
No,
Oh.
we didn't. No,
No,
bro.
it wasn't.
Oh,
We
man.
didn't. I said it to Bennett that I wanted to bring it up, but we didn't put it in the notes. So thank you for bringing it up again.
Oh man, so we've now created our own great Coda memory, and
That
Trevor, I've
that's all-
got to know because you obviously watch the pod, so you know how much fun we had with that clip. We've got to know from your perspective, like, what was that like?
Okay, so that was the first race I've ever done at Coda. Because I didn't do any officials, I just practiced by myself because I just bought Coda that week and stuff. And road courses, I've been trying to get better. Like I've started doing some endurance races and stuff like that, but I am not the greatest at road courses yet. And for me, it was just making laps. And somehow I qualified 6th that race, and I was like, okay, well, we're pretty fast here. And all of a sudden, lap 1, and we get in that turn 12, and all of a sudden I just, and I'm like, what just happened? And, and I was gonna say, oh my OMFG, and I just joined Kevin's team, and I don't know if these guys were really religious or not. So I caught myself and cut off the God part, and it's just, oh my fucking. And
God, that was great. I just
That was-
To be fair,
From-
Tay is quite religious.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from my perspective, like, all I hear is Jacob go, "Don't move," and I'm like, I've got to pull out a line to make this corner. He goes, "Now I'm coming in hot." He's like, I can't stop. And all of a sudden, I see him go by, and I'm like, oh God, he's gonna smoke the 15's door, and he hits the accelerator and just goes right by you. I was like, oh my God.
Dude,
I was
just
just like, oh.
just
It's
hear
one of the top 5 funniest moments, and also one of the top 5 greatest wreck avoidances I think we've ever
Ever.
had.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, and the fact that he didn't just absolutely RKO the tire barrier at the end of turn 12 is
Yeah, he saved it.
equally as
He
impressive.
saved
Just
it,
off
yeah.
track. That's all he
That
got.
was that was just insane for him. I can't believe he didn't hit anybody there, especially me. Like I was
the
shocked.
best thing about you streaming that race
Yeah.
was it was dead fucking quiet in your stream. Like you were so focused. All you hear is fucking wind, and then you're like, oh my fucking.
It's like I said, for
It
me, it
was
was just
so
staying on
good.
track there. Like, Coda was a struggle for me during practice and stuff, and I figured out a little bit of a rhythm there. And it was just the first lap, so I'm trying to get into that rhythm, and then all of a sudden a car just 150 miles an hour just blows right by me, and I'm like, what is
Oh,
this?
man.
Did you go back and watch the replay on the gap between you and him? Because I mean,
No, I forgot to actually at the end of that race.
if Netcode would have been out there creeping around looking for somewhere to fucking beep,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I'm
would've-
surprised it
there.
didn't grab
It
you.
was there.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised it didn't get you. Like
Yeah.
it was, dude. I mean, it was fucking.
I
I mean, you
inches.
see how close these two diecasts are together? It was that close.
That.
It
Yeah,
really
it was
was.
ridiculous.
It was.
It shocked. Like I didn't even know what to. I think I messed up the next turn really, really bad because I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah,
I think I broke
like-
super early for the next turn, and
yeah, I was about to say.
That's one
It'd be
thing I
so
never
hard to make
considered.
13.
Yeah, that's one thing I never considered. Is like, what the fuck does that do for you as the driver who just
Like Miss
death?
Death.
I don't know. Yeah, like what do you do? I didn't even think about that.
I think you change your pants and hope for the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
Oh,
It was.
Can't
Are
put a
we okay
catheter out
back
for
here?
that.
I'm just saying, like, there's PTSD for all these guys. Like, they see me and Rob near each other at Coda, and we're
Oh, no,
anywhere
yeah.
near that section of the track. There's, like, Grant said he came out of 12, and me and Rob were in 13, and we were dooring each other, and there was some smoke involved, and Grant was like, oh my
Not
God.
again.
Now,
Not again.
everybody's going to have PTSD going into turn 12,
12
thinking, is
with
Jacob
Jacob
coming?
behind.
Yeah, where's
Is
the
Jacob
18?
coming?
Where's the 18?
Oh man.
Yeah, that was definitely that's gonna be like when we were watching those Pat McAfee highlights the other day, and we were like, which one's gonna be number one? And everybody was like, oh, it's gonna be this one.
Everybody knew.
Like, yeah, like that's gonna go down as
We
one of the
need-
greatest
That
moments.
was the
in our
first
we
life.
time
do
I've
a
ever.
season recap video.
Yes,
that's
a season
certainly be
recap
it.
video,
Yeah,
and that'll be the number one.
that'll be the
That
number one
was
thing.
the first time I think I've ever interacted with Jacob was after he almost blew my Zora.
That's probably a good time to meet Jacob because at that point he's like, yeah, I fucked up, dude. You
Yeah,
know, it's like-
that's probably one of the few times where he's like, "Yeah, man, I fucked it." Yeah,
Yep, not bad.
That's a good time to see him, dude.
Great.
That
So,
was a wild one.
yeah. Well, speaking of awesome things that have happened, let's talk about next week. The one-off, the All-Star race. Nick, would you like to go a little bit into? I know admin haven't released the format and all the announcements yet. We're gonna wait to do that you all are gonna wait to do that until tomorrow morning, right?
No, it's releasing right here,
So-
and then we announce it.
I
in
know,
Discord.
but I'm saying at this moment, you guys are gonna do it tomorrow morning when we're
Yep.
when we release the podcast.
Technically, yes.
Everything
yes,
Friday
yes, yes.
morning. Okay, yeah. So Nick, why don't you talk about it?
As of right now, we officially have 14 drivers qualified into the All-Star race. This is due for 3 reasons. It would be a win from season 2, which was last year. It would be a win in the current season, or having won a pole position for this year. So the current drivers that are locked in so far would be Rob Rader, Trevor Earhart, Justice Murphy, Kevin Orlando, myself, Grant Thorpe, Mr. Michael Bennett, Tay McDonald, James Loveland, Blake Cook with a monster pole lap at Kansas, Alex Berube, Jeremy Burns, Caleb Gilbert, and then Parker Johnston with his win at Road America. So currently, we will be going to North Wilkesboro, as you stated before, Bennett. We will be having an All-Star Open, which will have the non-qualified drivers have a chance to get in, where we will be adding 2 extra drivers to make the field of 16. We will have 2 heats for the Open. The winner of the first heat will not grid up for the second heat. All drivers that so you'll have the same amount of drivers in Heat 1 as you would in Heat 2, minus the winner of Heat 1. Those 2 winners will move on. Both those heats, I believe, will be 25 to 30 laps. I don't think we've configured on a number, but it would be 25 or 30. And then in which that time we're going to have 2 sessions. So one session will be strictly for the Open, and then session 2 is going to be for the All-Stars, which is going to be a 100-lap race. The qualified All-Stars will qualify normal with a 2-lap qualifying. The 2 Open drivers will not qualify, as they will be both starting in the back. Now, based on stage cautions or format-wise of what we want to do within the 100 laps, it's undetermined, but there is going to be an admin caution. We just have not determined when that is going to happen.
Whenever it benefits me, please.
Yeah,
we
we'll
would need
yeah,
one
we'll
about every
clear your,
11 laps.
yeah. You can clear your black. We'll allow it this one time. You're welcome.
Just one time. I got it. I got this.
Yeah.
His meatball black.
So if I heard that right, so we're gonna have 2 heats. Winner of Heat 1 is in. Winner of Heat 2 is in.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Now all the people who don't win Heat 1, they're
They
just
will be in
out,
Heat
right?
2.
Nope.
Oh,
they'll
they
be
can-
in
they
Heat 2.
have-
they'll still
So
have a chance.
the entire field will grid in Heat 1.
In
the
Heat
winner of
1,
Heat
and
1,
then
and then they'll all
okay.
grid in Heat 2. Yep.
Okay, so you actually get 2 chances to win.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, sick. That's gonna be awesome. Well, is there anything else we want to talk about with the All-Star format, or anything you admin would like to put in on it before we go to our
I
winners?
do want to ask Trevor as the one not in yet. You try to race through the open. How do you feel about your competition?
Everybody's good here. I mean, 90% of this league is really good, and it's it's hard sometimes, but that's what makes it fun. So, I mean, I'll probably put some laps down tonight and try to make sure I make it into that All-Star race. So hopefully there's a technicality that I can get in with. I talked about it earlier, but I'm gonna practice to race my way in before I rely on that.
Well, once you get in, you still got to try and win. So
That too,
laps are gonna
and
help you.
so yeah,
So yeah, good point. He brought up a technicality before the podcast. We won't say about it here, but just so Justice, I know you didn't hear it, but there's a technicality with a penalty that happened at Auto Club that we do have to take into consideration before we actually announce if it's 14 qualified in or 15 qualified in.
Yep. So, all right, cool. Well, let's get on to my favorite part. This is gonna be we're right on time here, so perfect. Trevor, you listen to the podcast. I think you know what part's coming up.
Mhm.
What we're gonna do here, we're gonna pick our winners. Rules are you can't pick yourself, and once somebody's been picked, they can't be picked again. We're gonna do the open winners, and you can do two. We'll do two if you want. And then who do you think's gonna win the actual All Star? Do we want to add anything fun, anything crazy? I don't know a lot about North Wilkesboro yet, so
By picking
Hey, left
the
turn.
opens, by picking the opens, we have our second pick. So I like that.
okay. And you can do. Do we want to do two for the opens, or you just want to pick one of the two? Because that's going to take
Pick
away a
two.
lot of the drivers.
Yeah,
Jesus
pick-
Christ, I'm going
Yeah,
second.
no, I gotta go second because I won Darlington.
I didn't get to do my Richmond podcast when I won.
Oh, well, whose fault's that? You should have had
That's
internet.
fucking my internet. It's fine.
Just
I'll go
pick
third.
just pick one open winner then, because yeah,
Alright.
it'll eat up all the drivers.
Yeah, it's
if we
going to
don't.
eat up a bunch of them. Okay, Trevor, you're the guest, so you go first. Open winner,
I
and
get to
then
go first. Open winner. I'm looking at the one, Matt Robinson.
great
He's
pick.
fast a lot of places, and I feel like this is something he'd be pretty good at. He's pretty good at race you clean, but he'll bang your doors, and it's something you kind of need at North Wilkesboro. So I think this is kind of up his wheelhouse. It seems like something he'd be pretty good at.
He's definitely trying.
And
You should have heard him in
And
our
then
team chat.
your all-star
And
feature
All-Star.
winner.
who's your all-star feature winner?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with Tay. I know Tay loves his short tracks. Iowa, I think he should have won last year in here, if I'm not mistaken. But something happened. And I know
Poorly
Tay's really
timed
fast.
caution.
Yeah,
Oh.
Tay's really fast at short tracks, and it just
Faster.
again, that's something in his wheelhouse that I think he can pull it off.
Nice.
Good picks. Yep. All right, so we got Robinson winning the Open, Tay winning the All-Star. Baldy,
You can go second, baby.
that's okay. You go ahead. You won. I'll let you have it.
Well, you already know who my open pick's gonna be, and I'm gonna continue to pick him until he's absolutely dog shit. It's gonna be the 15. It's gonna
This
be
is
the
my
other
favorite
Trevor.
part of the podcast every
Yep.
week. So.
Every week,
He's
yeah.
absolutely dog shit at something.
Hey, Trevor. Trevor's gonna have to keep the car in one fucking peat now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I will. I did it at Darlington, and surprisingly
you did it
enough,
at
that's the
Darlington.
track I did it at.
Stop being like me and fucking up qualifying because I've done it the last
Yeah,
3 weeks
I
too.
need to
So
stop doing that.
My
Oh,
second
man.
lap didn't count yesterday. I was so mad.
Mine either.
Yeah.
That's why I was back there at 20th.
so I'm gonna go with Keith, and then my all-star race winner. I'm gonna go with my teammate. I'm gonna go with
You
Loveland.
bitch.
I fucking hate you.
Oh,
God,
I
This is
you
who I was
bitch.
gonna
Yeah.
pick.
You can't. He
You can't not.
Yeah, he's just so good and consistent everywhere we go, and I know he's quick around Wilkesboro because I've raced with him in other leagues there, and so that's my pick.
It's a good fucking pick. All right, I'm gonna go for everybody else picks my ship. All right, so open winner, somebody who I think deserves to be in this All Star race, and I believe is the highest one in points. That's not our guest last week, Brandon Dunford. Uh,
Ooh.
I think he's got to get in there. I don't see how he doesn't. He's so quick everywhere we go. So I'm hoping he can get in there, especially since Trevor took my teammate as my pick. So that's mine for the Open. As far as for the All Star winner, oh, I was gonna go with Loveland, but I'm gonna go with Rob. I think we've seen the turn for the 53 carp. I think we're at that point. What is it? 3 podiums in 3 weeks or something like that. Uh, I think we're just gonna see those results keep happening. So 53. Who wants next? Let's. Who picked last week? I think Nick did.
All right, me next. Okay,
Yeah.
open winner, just because this guy's gonna get picked, so hopefully, he does something good here. He's been a little bit dog shit lately. Not calling you out, just facts don't lie. Anyway, it's gonna be Jeff Israel. I think it's gonna make it into the All-Star race
Okay.
by winning one of the opens. Um, Yeesh. Now the
He got a
actual
top 10
All-Star.
last week or yesterday, not last week.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yep.
Because he wrecked me. Yeah.
well,
So
I didn't know about that one yet.
He
Oh, a
Matt
bunch of people
Roberts
got
to
top
me.
10s. Yeah, a bunch of people got top 10s from wrecking you. Maybe that's the key. Maybe that's what I need to do
Yeah.
next week.
so so someone I'm gonna pick for the All-Star race win, which I think is a little sneaky pick. I know he's fast here. He's been fast here before. Um, and I'm hoping he shows up unlike he did yesterday, and that's gonna be Grant Thorpe to win the All-Star race.
77's always a solid pick.
He is consistent.
All right. Kevin, what you got?
All
We're gonna
right.
put the pressure on Justice.
We're gonna put. Okay, sounds good to me. Well, I'm fingers crossed that he shows up. It's worse scheduled than crazy, but if Ray Lane makes it out to this All Star Open, I think he's a shoe in to get in. He's quick. He likes the short tracks. If he doesn't get caught up in something, which his luck hasn't been great, but if he doesn't get caught up in something, I think he's a shoe in to get it. And coming into the main at that point, it's the All Star race. There's a lot of good drivers. But I don't think we can count out Caleb in this case. After last night's performance, a little bit hard, but I really think he's got a good shot at winning this. I've seen him at some of the more difficult tracks. I think Wilkesboro is one of those difficult tracks, and he just really seems to dial it in and get shit done when it counts. So I think he's got a really good shot at it.
Nice.
Thanks. All right, J Mac, take us home.
All right, so I think for an open winner, I'm gonna keep it in the family here. I'm gonna take Wayne. Guy is typically pretty quick, pretty smart around the short tracks. I think he'll be fine if he can. Once again, like I call out TK every week, if he can keep the car in one fucking piece,
Or the
be
15
okay.
doesn't run him over.
Yeah, the 15 didn't run him over at Kansas. But no, I'll pick Wayne to get out of the open, one of the open races there. As far as the winner, man, I would love to be able to pick myself because of how good I was at Nashville. But obviously can't do that. So I'm going to give you another surprise one because I think he's been really hot all season, pretty good. Probably would have been pretty good last night if he didn't get caught up in that first wreck from his teammate. But that's going to be Burns.
Old Buttons himself.
Old Buttons.
I think he's gonna
Got
take it
Buttons,
home with the
Buttons,
Wilkes,
Barrels, and Rob and Jeff on that team over there.
Oh, what a mixture. All right. Well, all good picks. I don't know what the hell happened to Trevor.
He said his PC died.
Yeah.
His PC died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming he just shut off on him.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Dang.
I would like to know what he
said,
said, but I'm over here looking for my phone at the moment.
Oh, did he? Oh, I guess he did, didn't he?
He said.
He messaged
Okay.
us.
All right. Well, do we have anything else we want to add before
do.
we closing
do.
thoughts here?
I do. So I've
Alright.
obviously heard of from the other admins on this topic, but Mr. Trevor, since you're the only Trevor left here now,
Now it's easy.
the hard-hitting question of the week. When you go to the grocery store and you grab
Oh,
that thing
fuck.
with 4 wheels that you put groceries in and you push it around, what do you call that?
It's a shopping cart. It's a
Yeah.
cart.
Oh, you mean to
Yeah.
say it's not a fucking carriage?
Nick,
It's
Nick,
not
you
a
set
carriage.
yourself up to
Never
get
heard
hurt.
that until Nick posted that in the
Thank
You
you.
never heard it
Discord.
called a
listen,
carriage?
You should have been.
No.
You should have been in
No.
the chat
But
when
The day
he
it came
came
up.
back. He said, "I'm going to the grocery store. I'll be back." Me, Bennett, and Trevor were in the chat. Nick comes back and goes, "Boys, don't you just hate it when you go to get the carriage?" And I'm like, "Hold the fuck up. We're not glossing over this. You're gonna need to do some explanation."
I
here.
saw like
We can't
Clydesdale
fuck with
horses.
this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as soon as
Yeah.
he said
He
carriage,
sees a
It's just-
fucking Budweiser
Yeah.
commercial.
I was like, "The
just-
fuck is this?" He's like,
I,
"That thing in
like-
the." Go ahead.
I grew up in BFE, Missouri, like Farmington, Missouri. Like I've never heard that before in my entire life. So
Unless
Yeah.
you're
I've
from
been to
New
Boston,
Bedford,
I've never heard of that
Massachusetts.
before.
So-
Yeah, I fucking
And
you're
it's
not gonna
hey,
hear.
the even worse part is that's probably the first time in a while I've heard him actually pronounce the fucking R
Oh,
in
carriage.
anything.
Yeah.
Instead of calling it a carriage, he called it a carriage.
So
And so he's gonna park the carriage.
the oxymoron whole thing about this is, so from where I'm from, we all call it a carriage, but we call the
You're wrong.
person anyway, we call it a carriage here, and the persons whose job it is at the grocery store to go grab the carriages, we call them the cart kid, but we don't actually call what he grabs a cart.
Carriage driver
You know-
over there. Just
Okay,
go get
so
all the
that's
carriages
the
out
end
of the
of
parking lot.
that's the end of Nick being here.
you know what that makes me think about though is like, you guys ever watch Jackass?
Oh,
When
yeah.
they do the
yeah.
shopping cart stuff. Could you imagine if they called it a carriage instead of a shopping cart
Nah.
when they were
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that?
No, they wouldn't, because only one family in New Bedford, Massachusetts, fucking calls it that. That's
It's
it,
just-
dude.
It's just the carriage. And
There's
Ah,
4 people in all of the country that call it a fucking carriage.
yeah, and 3 of them are fraternal twins. It's fucked.
What-
Yeah.
Well, they'd be
You even
fraternal
said that
triplets.
wrong.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, triplets. That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
triplets.
Yeah. Sorry. Fuck off, carriage. All right.
Wait, you're a triplet?
Kevin, you know this. I'm a triplet.
I
Yeah.
forgot.
Fraternal.
There's 2
I did
real
not
buff
know that,
guys and
actually.
then fucking Nick.
To be fair, I forgot. There's
Yeah.
3 of you fuckers? God damn it.
And listen, they all have the same grammar as Nick.
Why aren't they on here racing with us, man?
Okay, incorrect. This is good.
One more
another this,
year closer, dude.
This is another podcast. This can be a different subject as a podcast. I am the smartest of the 3. The other 2
That's-
are
Oh,
the
here we are,
dim-witted
dude.
buffoons.
That's so
Hey, if he's the-
concerning for
if he's
humanity.
the smartest of the 3, I'm worried about
Yeah.
society at this point.
Yes. Dude, it's gonna be
Honestly,
idiocracy.
I actually
walking
have.
around
I
here.
actually do have one other question for Trevor, and this is a serious question. I've noticed you had a little friend with you this entire time. What is
Yeah,
it?
there's
That's
2 of them.
That's two
Oh.
tails.
Oh, 2
I
tips,
think
sorry.
they need to go somewhere, and they're trying to let me know, and that's why they
What-
didn't bother me this whole
What
time.
are each of their names, and what kind are they?
So this, right, come here. This
That's
is
a
Charlotte.
dog,
Aww.
and it's a dog.
Well, I know they're a
Oh,
fucking
there's the other.
dog, Kevin.
That is
Yeah.
Charlotte. She is actually this one's mom.
Oh.
Oh.
Surprisingly enough, Charlotte is a Beagle Australian Shepherd mix.
And
Uh,
the other one got
and
more
the other
Australian
one-
Shepherd.
The other one's kind of a mutt, but she looks like an Australian Shepherd. But Charlotte looks like a Beagle, so it's kind of weird. But
Damn.
and
good
then
looking
this one is
dogs, bro.
Amara. Charlotte and Amara.
Ooh, I like Amara's name. That's unique.
Yeah, it was a fucking story. I went with Athena at first.
Yeah.
And not realizing my
Great
best
name
friend
Also.
was having a kid, and they were naming the kid Athena, and his
So
wife
you had,
was
so you
pissed.
had to, so you had to change the dog's
so I had
name.
to change it real quick, dude. I
should've-
forgot
yeah,
that they were
you
naming the
should've
kid
went-
Athena.
You should have went up to his wife and like, listen, I'm gonna give you a list of names for you to choose to rename your baby.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
I'm
right
not.
now.
Hide that
That's
day.
my dog's name. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
So what
you would've
happened
been
from
murdered.
there? Oh, we'll have to figure it out tomorrow. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I looked up names and I found Amara, which is like bitter
Fucking-
and sweet or something. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
funny.
That's
God.
fucking hilarious.
Fucking Kevin.
Oh, that's great.
That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that name. I can't help it.
I tell you what, though, having 7 puppies in a 1-bedroom apartment is not fun.
That's
I
too
would
many.
never do that again.
Yeah.
Did you
They are
name
both
them all?
fixed now. No, I only kept Amara.
Just the one
so
you
I-
kept?
Yeah.
Smart.
Are the other
Yeah.
ones named after babies too?
Nick.
That's secret information. He can't change their names now, and there's gonna be a lot of women that are pissed.
Oh,
On a serious
man.
note, Trevor, thanks for joining us, man. It's been an absolute blast
Oh, yeah.
getting to know you. Super glad you made time for us.
Yeah, I was excited about this. It really, glad the work schedule cleared up. So.
Well, I hope we lived up to expectations, even with Nick's stupid ass questions about carriages and stuff. So
Oh no, it
Carriages
was a
and
blast. I had a
cars.
lot of fun.
awesome.
I do want to
awesome.
say something before we log off that we
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
Caleb a lot of shit for what he did. But hitting the barrels was probably my fault because I was probably this close to hitting him too. I just avoided them because I was just kind of off in La La Land about to enter the pitch,
To
and all of a sudden I was like, oh no, I'm gonna hit the barrels, and Caleb's right behind me.
to help you
I-
out and help you like not think it's your fault, we went back and looked at Caleb's in car. He could see the goddamn barrels.
He could see the
He
barrels.
could
the
see
whole fucking
them.
time.
At least,
Yeah.
at least in that, because I didn't feel bad when I looked back in my rearview mirror and Caleb's boom just blowing up back there. I'm like, oh
we
no.
literally
Yeah.
like backed it up, and I'm like, back it up, getting Caleb's cockpit. I'm like, you can see the fucking barrels. How do you hit them?
Because I thought he was just
Uh,
following me, and I almost hit him. So I had to like go like this because I was like, oh no.
To be fair, we had that incident happen in the other league we ran, and the guy that owned the league was the one that hit the barrels and proceeded to key up and call the guy in front of him a motherfucker because he put him in the barrels. And I'm like, you put yourself in the barrels. This was at
Oh,
Homestead.
man.
I was like, oh my god.
To be fair, also Darlington's a tighter pit road than Homestead,
By far, yeah.
which is what makes the older one even funnier.
All right. Well, we are out of time here, guys. Like I said, thanks Trevor for joining. Co-host, you guys are great. This has been a good one. So
Mhm.
Peace. Good night,
see
everybody.
you guys later.
Oh yeah.